Ginny and Georgia is a great example why sometimes complex characters don't always work in teenage shows. Ginny and Georgia is a teenage show which we formally usually see in the forms of Outer Banks and more fun, lighthearted, less complex characters, and I think Ginny and Georgia are both extremely complex female characters, and it's also a complex mother-daughter relationship, which we all know. If you were a teenage girl once, you surely know complex mother-daughter relationships are strong. Teenage daughter me was like low-key a bitch, and I love my mom now. We are super close, but like going through being a teenager is hard. She made mistakes, I made mistakes, we can all laugh them off now, but I totally understand Ginny, and I actually don't think she is a bad person in any regard. I think she has her fatal flaws and she has made mistakes, but that's what makes her a great character. And I also totally understand why she has a bit of a headbutt relationship with her mum. I mean, Georgia has moved town to town where she sees fit, and while she has a traumatic background that we as viewers understand why Georgia is who she is due to her background, Ginny is her daughter who craves a loving relationship and a solid rock to grow up on. She expects one house, she expects to stay at a school, she expects to be allowed to grow, and as a daughter you expect that your mum is not going to let her traumas ruin your growth, really. And I feel like we as viewers understand that Georgia's went through a lot, so we can understand why she is who she is. But Ginny is just the daughter who wants to be loved and have a solid life. She just wants a rock, something solid in her life that is not just going to change. But Ginny has had to change her school. She's had to see different men walk into their lives, which I definitely come from an understanding point with Ginny. I do not think she's a bad daughter, a bad person, a bad woman. I think she is just trying to grow up and she doesn't have a solid ground to walk on, and I understand Georgia as a character, but as a mum she is flawed, and that's okay. They are both flawed characters, and that's what makes this show so interesting. But I think people can't digest that when it's just a teen show that's made to be lighthearted, because truthfully a lot of this underlying relationship is not lighthearted, and it comes with a lot of issues. Like, we see Ginny have issues with SH, and we see Georgia have a lot of issues as well that are not lighthearted. And I think this show is packaged like it's a lighthearted teenage film with some really cringy moments, like when Hunter tap danced in the corridor, but then we get hit with some really dark moments, and it's almost hard for viewers to like Ginny because they're not expecting this hard-hitting complex relationship. I think this show is purely packaged wrong, and if it was made into more of an adult show with more serious writing, we could understand their complex relationship more. But because it's packaged as a teen cringy easy to watch show, we just want Ginny to understand how cool and badass her mother is.